Hello, Master Manifester. Today we're talking about setting emotional limits, emotional boundaries for manifestation. So the first thing that I even want to get into is recognizing what the risks are, and what you need to protect, what you need to be prioritizing. First off, stop trying to calm down. Don't calm down. Fuck calming down, okay? It's a matrix mixed message that tries to tell you to suppress what you are feeling for the sake of your identity. Your identity is important in manifestation, but you're not going to change it like that. In fact, you're going to double down and make it worse. So what should you do instead of trying to calm down? If you are anxious, if you are excited, which excited and anxious are like the same thing almost, right? They're just a little bit different interpretation of what the feeling means. But if you think about what excited feels like, or what anxious feels like, it's really based on what your mental interpretation of that is. So when you start feeling anxious, scared, angry, lean into it. Lean into it. Do nothing. No action. Lean into it. Do nothing about it, right? Just let it be there. Let it reach the peak, the antithesis, the highest point of the feeling, and focus only on the feeling, not the meaning, not what you think the feeling means. Those meanings are going to come up. That's fine. Just let them be there. Just be like, yeah, those are some meanings that I'm making of it. This takes practice. It does, but it's one of the most powerful things for shifting your identity, because when you try to suppress and you try to make yourself calm down, now you can calm down quickly with breathing methods, right? That's fine, but you still need to get in with the emotion. You still need to get in the water and swim around with the sharks. Okay. And they might bite a little bit. Don't worry. It's okay. You're going to heal right up, but you need to fully feel it. And it can be really agonizing sometimes. It really can, because it almost feels like, like dying or something. Like it's not that bad, but it can be really, really physically and emotionally and mentally intense. And you want to be okay with the intensity being there. We are human beings. We live with intensity. That's the balance. It's not going to be perfect, starry roses all the time. It'd be great if it would, but even then, we wouldn't be happy with that. I promise you. It would not be contentment. It would not be eudaimonia. It would not be a sense of fulfillment, because you need the balance of contrast. And when the contrast comes up, it needs to be observed so it can clear, so you can move on to the next step. It's kind of like boss fight levels, right? Your bosses are those emotions that you've been avoiding your entire life. Those are the big bosses. And facing them does not mean forcing them down or trying to hold them down. It means pulling them together with you right up in your face until they can't move, until they finally have to release themselves and integrate themselves into your system, right? So don't try to force yourself to calm down. Do the breathing exercises to help your nervous system relax, but don't try to calm the emotions. I want to make that distinction. Calm the nervous system, not the emotion. Let the emotion clear itself just by being seen. And it will, if you just sit with it, because you'll realize that it's safe to have this emotion, that it does not mean anything bad about you. It does not mean you did something wrong by having feelings. And most of us are programmed by the Matrix to feel like feelings themselves make us a bad person, to feel ashamed simply for having feelings. For like some people, like depending on how their program was when they were raised, sometimes they'll feel like the only emotion that they can acknowledge is anger, right? They can't acknowledge sadness. They can't acknowledge fear. Anger is the only acceptable one, or it could be the reverse. They can only show this, or they can only show that. You need the full spectrum of your emotion, and you'll always have it anyway, but you need it to be aligned with your intentions. So that's some of the emotional risk, is pushing it down, right? And another one is emotional contagion, getting caught up in other people's feelings. This is very easy to do. Mirror neurons in our brain naturally make us attuned to other people so that we can stay socially connected. It is a survival thing also. It's a survival method, because if we get disconnected from our group back in the day when, survival was an issue, we would die. We wouldn't make it, right? We would have to stay cohesive with our group and have them care about us and have us care about them for everybody to be safe. Now things are a little bit different. I mean, it's still that way, but you need to be selective now. You're not just, okay, the clan I was born into is the only one I have available to me ever. No, you have as many clans as available as you could possibly want to find. And if one isn't working, you move on to another one. Now, here's the hard part. Letting go of the fantasy of someone else being what you wished they would be in your life. People are not here to make you feel better, okay? They're not here to fulfill your fantasies. They are here to be a mirror for you to look harder at your shadows. This is what people are for. Connecting with them means that you become a mutual mirror and a mutual co-regulator, right? So you stay regulated, they stay regulated as much as possible. If they get dysregulated, maybe you can be the calm one. If you get dysregulated, maybe they can be the calm one. Sometimes you both go crazy at the same time, in which case you just got to regulate yourselves. But blaming other people for how you feel is not going to work if you want to be a master manifester. You can do it, and it's matrix style. It's a matrix style program to try to make other people change, to make yourself feel better. It does not work in reality. If you want to get to that experience, you own you. You own your feelings. You own your discernment of which situations and which people to be around. And you own the identities that you're willing to let go to move forward. And part of that is you just have this identity with this person, right? Oh, I'm this to this person and they are this to me. And letting go of that can be really hard. It can, but it's necessary for growth. Doing hard things is necessary for growth. It is simply the way it is. Does it have to be completely miserable? No. No. In fact, it makes it more miserable if you try to push it down, because then it gets locked up in your body, right? And you can't practically breathe. Now, when it comes to other people's feelings, can you be supportive of them? Sure. But you're not their emotional blankets. You're not their emotional punching bag. You're not their emotional life raft. Okay? They need to regulate themselves. This is teach a man to fish type stuff. Teach a human to fish. Okay? This is teach a human to fish type stuff. If you can hold that state so they can more easily regulate themselves in a calm state, hey, everything's okay. Everything is safe, right? But if you've got somebody around who's constantly dysregulating your system or a situation or an environment, you need to either try to change that environment, change yourself within the environment or the social situation, or remove yourself from it and go find a different environment, because this is an alignment issue. What other people do and how they react and how they interact with you is an alignment issue. It's not for you to go correcting other adults on their values any more than they correct you on yours. You decide your priorities and values. You decide your core programming. You decide who you will become in your identity. And so do they. Those are boundaries. Those are the emotional limits where you end and they begin. So protecting your energy is the main thing here. This is what the boundaries are about. It takes a lot of energy to rewire your neurology, to be in a new identity, to have the manifestation that you want, right? So you need that energy. So you need to have it as balanced as you can within your daily life when you're living in your character and you're not being in observer mode, that your nervous system isn't constantly getting tripped off and getting exhausted by other distracting things. That means prioritizing where you're putting your energy. Is this going to give me fulfillment? Is this going to be supportive? Or is it just a drain on my resources? Is it just a vampire? And I don't like to call other people vampires. They have vampire programs, is the way I see it. And everybody has programs that they are running automated. And I talk about this all the time. Free will is free if you know how to use it. But according to brain scans, most of these decisions we make unconsciously before we're even aware there is a decision to be made. So you need to change the unconscious programs and how you deal with that. And part of that is dealing with your emotions in your body and letting them be there, right? So you protect your energy by letting the emotions flow through, not getting stuck in the body because you were afraid of the emotion or felt like it made you a bad person. I promise you, you're not a bad person for feeling. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what the feeling is. It doesn't matter what thoughts it inspires. Remember, they're just story option. You know, you're not making these thoughts. They're just emerging from a taxed nervous system that's exhausted and stressed and scared. It's okay that you had bad thoughts. It's okay that you had feelings that don't feel good. You know, and sometimes even sitting with the contradiction of, you know what? Yep, this sucks. I hate this feeling. Had this before. I never want to have it again, but I know I'm going to. And sometimes just sitting with that and letting it be there, maybe even just, you know, not even saying anything about it in your head, just being like, here we are. Here we are. And it's okay. It's kind of clear. Know that there is an end. There is an end to that. You will move on to the next chapter, the next sentence, the next paragraph. And that feeling will have cleared unless you stuff it down. And then it's all stuck in your stress hormones and it comes back up later and you're like, what the heck is that? Yeah, it's back. It's back, baby. So I hope this has helped you to understand a little bit about setting emotional limits in manifestation, about recognizing emotional contagion. Because when you see other people, freaking out and you want to freak out and then they freak out and you're getting these emotional spirals where you're thinking and then your body gets activated and then you're thinking and you think it's all true. No, we're going to be selective about what is true, because when you are in those situations and you get tunnel vision and you can't see that there are other objective aspects to the thing that you're thinking about, because your brain won't let you. It literally starts draining the blood from your prefrontal cortex, where you make all these conscious decisions, into survival centers where all it's like fight or flight. Oh my gosh, I have to save myself. It's okay to feel that way. Let it be there. Do nothing. Just be like, here it is. Or if you need to, get up and stretch, breathe, make sure you're getting your body what it needs to calm down, and lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, getting your system calm with deep, slow breathing, right? But also let the emotions reach their peak. Let them get to the highest point. Don't keep bringing them back there. Don't let them stay, but let them fully be seen and then be like, okay, that program's done now. Time to move on to the next one. And when you're dealing with other people's programs, look for alignment. Consider what the alignment is. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and sign up for the Method Muse newsletter in the description below.